I really do apologize for showing up late. I was watching the political theater play out and apologize for that. But let's get this party started. Okay, Friday night session. It's 7:30 here on the West Coast. Just watch them. The vote is underway to confirm Kevin McCarthy. Let's get straight on into our update. It's going to be a full cryptocurrency current events. And then we are going to talk real quick here at the beginning about the political theater. It looks like Kevin McCarthy is about to be nominated Speaker of the House. Looks like some deals have been brokered. And so I'm going to break down that political situation here right at the start. And then we'll get into the cryptocurrency current events full update for you guys. Appreciate you guys for hanging out there with me. I do apologize, okay? Let's get it started. CoinMarketCap tells us right now, Bitcoin, the markets are kind of up, actually. From today's events, from today's compromise, it looks like the markets are reacting positively. Bitcoin briefly broke above 17K, Ethereum 1,267, and XRP back up to 3,438. So, I mean, it's still sideways, really, to be honest. But, guys, let's take a look here. So, Jenna Ellis breaking down this situation, what happened. Remember, she's a former advisor and counsel to Donald Trump. Okay, very tapped in there with the conservative group there that was holding this thing up. She put together this thread, though, breaking down this situation. She says, breaking, source tells me the closed room background why the 14 are now backing McCarthy. So we had 14 of the 20 conservatives flip and are now supporting McCarthy. And she says this, the motion to vacate is key. It's a privileged motion, supersedes all other business except adjournment that takes only one movement. So only one person has to make a motion to basically oust McCarthy from the seat. These are some of the concessions that they were able to compromise on. If invoked, McCarthy would need a majority of 218 to stay as speaker. So basically, they would be back in the same situation, able to basically effectively take him out. This effectively neuters McCarthy. The original 20 have a pact that if McCarthy does anything outside his promises, they will vote to not retain, and he's gone. The rest of the rules package would mark the first time HRC would have independent authority, that's the House Rules Committee, would have independent authority from the leadership in over 60 years, good for accountability and the public. Process requires the vote for Speaker to happen first, members swearing in, then rules package. However, if McCarthy tries to back out of any concession, he won't have the votes for any rules package, and we're back to a stall. Congress can't move without a rules package affirmed. Okay, so they got a few things that they were able to work in here. Source tells me the 10 p.m. vote is likely going to see a consensus and McCarthy elected. Bottom line, with the rules package, the 20 have achieved a historic accountability, oversight, and check on leadership and the speaker's power. I would consider this a total win for Gates and company, the MAGA movement, and therefore America declare victory, and let's get to work. We will have to see. With that context, with that understanding, and the vote is taking place right now, so we will confirm that here in just a little bit. But with that understanding, with that context, I wanted to bring forth my good friend Val Jester Locke here on Twitter. He says, in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it does, you can bet it was planned that way. And that was a quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was one that definitely changed things up and definitely expanded the federal government powers. Definitely Franklin Del Roosevelt there. But yeah, folks, what we're watching right here is political theater playing out, right? And so I just want to reiterate, none of these people really are going to be able to fix this situation. This is already baked. This is already baked. This is already a done deal. And we have to prepare as Americans, understanding that our currency's toast, our debt will never be paid back, and the ongoing liquidity crisis is going to affect all of us. Now, Jim Rickards put this out this morning. DC journalists melting down because the House has been brought to a standstill after approving $9 trillion in deficit spending in 3 years and funding a war in Ukraine. I fail to see what's wrong with a standstill. Yeah, and I chimed in. I had actually retweeted this, I think, and I said that the real ones in America are getting by just fine with this political theater going on, with the DC situation, with the SEC stalling out, us poor XRP holders, and oh my gosh, we're just hoping and praying every night, doing our ritual for the 50K buyback. Or actually, the reality of the situation is we continue to take action, running our businesses, taking care of our family. Nothing's going to stop that. But I would love to see some accountability. I watched Byron Daniels speaking. He was interviewed right before this vote took place. And basically, he said that what they agreed upon was the House rules for the next 2 years, and that they're looking to launch the investigative processes was a direct quote from Byron Daniels, who was at one point actually nominated to become Speaker of the House. Now he's flipped and actually voted for McCarthy. And so he's talking about how they've changed the House rules for the next 2 years, and they want to start the investigative process. And he mentioned the Southern situation. He mentioned budgetary reforms. He mentioned cutting spending, the usual Republican speak, which I have been impressed with Byron Daniels, and I think that was good that he was nominated, and I actually liked what he had to say when I did listen to him speak. But this is the normal rhetoric that we're getting from Republicans. And so I just want to be clear, guys, that I'm just not in that left-right paradigm waiting and hoping and praying that the Republicans are going to save the day. But I will say that they have set forth a stage here. They've built a stage for some things to actually shake up in the United States. And I do believe that this is all done by design. I believe that these political actors have been playing their roles effectively, stalling this out for 4 days. 13 failed votes. Now we're finally going to get him elected as Speaker of the House. And apparently, we got some conservatives in there that are going to, put their feet to the fire and actually get something done. I'm an American. I'm going to run my business. I'm on the other side of the country here in the Pacific Northwest, right? I'm going to run my business. I'm going to make sure I take care of my family because I don't trust any of them. I don't trust the Federal Reserve, don't trust our federal government, and I definitely don't trust the political actors to actually get anything done besides play their part in the political theater that is taking place. I will look here in a bit. You guys can let me know in the comments down below if they've already agreed as Kevin McCarthy for Speaker, but it does look like that consensus is going to be reached. But with that political theater nonsense out of the way, let's get into our full update here for you guys. Current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Let's take this into our own hands and make sure that we're able to take care of our families. We got a serious situation at hand. Now, this right here, let me move this around real quick. Okay, here we go. Boom. Robert Breedlove. A few months before he was assassinated, Executive Order 11110 was signed by JFK with the intention to strip the Fed of its power to loan money to the U.S. government at interest. In my honest opinion, JFK was the last true leader of the free world, and Bitcoin is making his vision a reality. Now, of course, I agree with about half that statement, right? I do agree that JFK was one of the last leaders of the free world here who was actually trying to get something done. But I do not believe for 1 second that Bitcoin is making his vision a reality. I don't think that Bitcoin gets it done. I don't think that Bitcoin has utility. I think that Bitcoin was a good idea, but at the end of the day, we need something that's going to be a store of value that can be a reserve currency, but actually have liquidity, actually have efficiencies, scale up to handle an internet of value that needs to move trillions of dollars every single day. Bitcoin obviously cannot get that job done. Peter Schiff, the people know the least about inflation are the ones currently serving on the FOMC. That's your Federal Reserve, right? The Open Market Committee. That's because anyone who actually understands inflation isn't appointed to serve. There is no way the Federal Reserve will solve a problem that was purposely designed not to understand. So once again, Federal Reserve here is not our friend. It's not part of the federal government. And the last person that tried to strip the power of JFK, well, we know what happened there. And what's just recently been released and confirmed, right? The conspiracy theories, there's a little something there, right? We shouldn't talk about that much further, though, but it's interesting to see how much is getting revealed, all the revelations that are being made. And then, like I said, with this political situation, they are setting the stage. I'm not holding my breath for them to change my life, but I would love to see something actually done as far as accountability. Like you said, investigative processes, budgetary reforms, and cutting spending. That's a good start. We'll continue to see if they actually get it done. Now, here is the situation, though, and in regards to what the Fed has planned for us in 2023, I already put out a video, Fed plans for 2023 exposed. They are not planning any interest rate cuts, okay? And if we continue to see numbers like this, they may actually stay more hawkish with the interest rate hikes. This is out of Canada. Canada jobs report blows past expectations. 104,000 jobs added in December. Only 5,000 were predicted. That's 99,000 more. Unemployment goes down to 5%, the third decline in 4 months. Bad news for trying to get inflation down. So, right, they're taking these numbers, they're running with this. Now they're reporting here in the United States that we have a record number of Americans employed in December. Now, this is a play on words, this is a play on the data, and this is manipulation. This is manipulation of the facts. Let's check it out. 159 million Record number of Americans employed in December. Reversing recent declines, the percentage of the population that is either working or actively looking for work increased to slightly to 62.3% in December, up 1/10 of a point from November and 4 basis points higher than the 6.19% in December 2021. But we already understand very well how they are manipulating this data, manipulating these numbers, just like with inflation. So now they're touting this. The markets are reacting well, even though when we got the Fed minutes from the last meeting just like 2 days ago, right, the market actually started to go up. And like I said, it's in one ear, out the other. No reality being recognized here by the markets. Bitcoin breaking above 17K today, which is actually still relatively weak. I mean, nothing exciting has happened at all, but the market's reacting good, and we have the job numbers, right? They're only going to reiterate that hawkishness, that no cutting of interest rates that they have planned for 2023, which is going to have a major impact on real estate. This one from Ron Butler. Sweet Jesus, bank mortgage renewal 8.49%. And real estate's one sector asset class that's just getting smacked and really impacted by these interest rates. Alternative lender, and they had started to go down, actually. Mortgage loans the mortgage rates had actually started to go down. We have alternative lender, but my oh my, this is bad. So we went to an alternative lender, and they gave him 8.49% on the mortgage renewal. It's a $1,065,000 mortgage. Last year's rate was 3.24%. This February's initial renewal offer is 8.49% for 1 year fixed. That's only for 1 year, too. 1 year fixed. I have posted before about the growing crisis in alternative bank renewals. We will shop around to try to find an alternative rate, but the best we will find is high 6s to mid 7% with a 1% fee. So not any significant savings to be had. Again, these are federally licensed banks and trusts who specialize in alternative lending, not traditional banks. And this guy's out of Canada. I have posted in the past that these are a small subset of mortgage customers in Canada, less than 3% of all mortgages, but still, with effectively unmanageable rate increases, there just has to be some real growth in forced sales in 2023. Now, I would say, and to look at this real estate data further, kind of read between the lines, right? This is the investor class, right? The people that are taking these out, this is most likely the investor class, adjustable rate, 1 year rates. And for the developers, those on short-term loans, they have to get renegotiated here in the coming year. And as you've seen over the past year, right, this has made a lot of profit, taken a lot of the profit away from these investors, right? And it's definitely going to slow back some development. I just spoke with a builder, local builder, actually, when I went to the store here today, just a couple hours ago. Brief conversation, and we said, it's changing. It's tight out there. Right. And so this is the reality on the ground. Canada definitely feeling it. And for my Canadian friends to the north, I hope you guys are able to ride out this situation. Obviously, similar situation here down in the States. But breaking down this economic situation further, we have the Kobesi letter. Everything is pointing to us being in a recession, and then the unemployment rate falls to 3.5%. At the December Fed meeting, they emphasized the need for higher unemployment to tame inflation. The Fed is not getting the recession they wanted. Now they must turn more hawkish. So just kind of reiterating the point I was just making, right? The unemployment numbers dropping, a record amount of employment taking place, right? And then the markets reacting positively, starting to go back up once again. And this is going to require the Fed to get more hawkish. Otherwise, the inflation will persist and it won't continue going down. 7.1% is the phony CPI data that they give us. We know that it's more likely double than that. Reiterating further, Kobesi letter, the S&P 500 is now traded in the same 100-point range since December of the 22nd. That is nearly 16 days of tight range bound price action with options premiums under serious pressure. Consolidation typically ends when you least expect it, and the most patient investors usually win. Folks, we remain patient. We're watching this thing closely. We understand a massive amount of volatility ready to come in. And we're starting to see the markets have moved back up within the last 48 hours. After we got the Fed minutes, it was in one ear, out the other. No basis of reality. And no one actually listened to what the Fed actually said, I don't think. Or, like I said in my previous live stream, Fed plans for 2023 exposed, the people are calling their bluff. And that's what I'm doing. I'm calling their bluff, but I'm not investing in the stocks. This, not for me, is not stocks. I went and bought some more silver today. These are 1 ounce Buffalo Eagles. I only had a couple $100 cash on me, but I was in the area, and so I just swung on into my local dealer, and I actually picked up some more precious metals. I got about 9 ounces for $235, I believe, because it was about $26 spot. Okay. And once again, I didn't really care. I was just happy to get my silver, right? So I just say, take my money here. I just dump out my wallet. I only had a couple $100. So just making another allocation towards the silver precious metals. And for me, that's how I'm calling the bluff. I'm not investing in the stocks. And I do continue to remain patient here, because if this thing does continue, if they continue to raise the interest rates and we start to bleed out further, you just saw the massive layoffs coming and the reality check that is coming to corporate America and to middle America, right? The people that were making it, the people that were getting by, the people that were successful, the people that had assets, that kind of had it figured out and it was going good, right? That situation is quickly turning. And if they continue to raise the interest rates, this is going to make it a much more difficult environment to operate the businesses and to obviously for the real estate situation as well. So we're going to continue to watch this situation unfold. And we have more data points kind of confirming where we're at with the average retail investor tapped out. And I can feel it. I see the sentiment. I'm reading all my comments on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. People are emotionally triggered right now, and I get it. And I'm not here to be on any BS. I'm here to help you guys take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Here, let's confirm this even further, though. According to JP Morgan, retail traders unloaded $3.1 billion in assets this past week, making it the third worst week of net selling in history. And so I think a lot of people are getting tapped out, and I think a lot of people also were taking advantage of tax loss harvesting. I'm not sure if they were talking about the first week of January here, or if they were talking about the last week there of December. Nonetheless, we know that there was a lot of tax loss harvesting took place here, and the markets had relatively been speaking just been moving sideways since September, right? September is when the metals bottomed out. September is when a lot of things bottomed out, and then we've started to see a little bit of sideways action. We get a little pump, we get a little bit of excitement, and we've been warning about that. November 8th brought in the situation, right, that brought us down with Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX collapse. Relatively speaking, we've been within a channel on the Bitcoin chart, and maybe I'll pull up the sticks here in a little bit, but let's continue on through tonight's report. Gold Telegraph. We have property funds delaying withdrawals. We have numerous crypto companies freezing customer assets. We have seen countries freeze other countries' FX reserves. We see the word default used more casually. Why would you not want to own some tangible assets? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm right there with them. And we're seeing it all. We covered it last episode. BlackRock delaying withdrawals from their, that was their UK British fund. It's like a $3.5 billion British fund BlackRock had that they're pulling back withdrawals. And you're starting to see this, right? When BlackRock's doing it, others are as well. Obviously, crypto companies freezing the assets, losing the assets, going insolvent, the crypto space being embarrassed right now. It's pretty sad. Right, and then we have other countries freezing other countries' FX reserves. That started back in February of last year, basically when the Russia-Ukraine situation started, and that's only going to continue. And then now we're seeing the word default used more casually. We started to get some clips that we showed last week from the FDIC having systemic emergency meetings, basically on the systemic risk and exposure of the FDIC, of the banking system, and basically admitting that we have another situation that's coming. They don't know exactly what it's going to be, right? But they understand that 2020 was a test, one of many, and that we're about to see something else unfold. And I think that that's going to be, as the interest rates continue to raise, the liquidity gets sucked out, and we're already in a liquidity crisis. So it's just going to be extended out, more pain, and that's unfortunate, but it can be our opportunity if we remain prepared, ready to take action. Another one from Gold Telegraph. Let me get this straight. The London Metal Exchange is being sued for nearly $500 million after canceling orders during the nickel mania last year. Remember, we covered last episode, right, that the CEO, the guy who was running the London Metals Exchange, is stepping down. He's getting out of Dodge. And then there was just recently a lawsuit filed for $500 million because they had to stop the nickel market trading on the London Metal Exchange. Why? Because it would have forced a $20 billion margin call. Now metal stockpiles at the London Metals Exchange are at a 25-year low. Enjoy the show. So once again, I just I just went into my local dealer and I picked up, like I said, just a little bit of silver. And I always have a conversation with him. He's he's one of those guys, and I think that I give off the vibe too. And guys just like that, they just immediately want to start talking. So he just immediately goes into this whole rant about politics, what's taking place and everything, right? But we get into a conversation and he said that he had a record year. I'm not going to say the amount that he moved last year, but he moved a considerable chunk for just a local small time coin and coin dealer, right? But he told me his margin's only at 1%. That's what he says. But he's not making an incredible amount on it, and that's because the premiums are going up and the supply. He told me a few months ago when I went in there that he had placed an order for $1 million, and he was waiting for it to get filled. And so this is happening on the lower level, but you're seeing it happen at the largest markets in the world for these assets, for these commodities. Precious metals included, silver being more manipulated than gold, but we're seeing the manipulation and the suppression, right? Massive. In a $500 million lawsuit against the London Metals Exchange, CEO steps down. I'm going to make sure that I got some silver. I'm going to make sure that I got my metal in my vault while this situation continues to unfold. That is for damn sure. And you guys already know we got the link on down below if you want to roll over your 401k retirement account to precious metals as well. Continuing on, Arturo Portillo. Let's get into our crypto update. Excuse me. Cheers, everyone. Let's get into our crypto update. Arturo Portillo, is there anyone working in crypto anymore? LOL. Yeah, it's crazy. Crypto firm Genesis cuts 30% of workforce. So we have another major one. Genesis here going insolvent, going bust. We're having the whole issue with Digital Currency Group, right? That's been breaking down here. And crypto firm Genesis now laying off 30% of their workforce. So that just continues. Someone who is building, continuing to work on things. Reggie Middleton got the DeFi patent, and I'm going to be reaching out to Reggie. I hope I can get him back. Actually, I want to update because they just recently filed a big lawsuit against Circle, and they filed a lawsuit against Coinbase. But I'm interested to learn more too. I'm going to do a deep dive on what happened with Veritasium and how the SEC basically took the money from Reggie and from Veritasium, and they basically created a fair fund. They had a distribution agent where they collected the Veritasium and the money, and they basically tried to disperse payments back to the investors that were harmed. And so I'm going to do another deep dive on this. But Reggie is one of the guys. He's an incredible mind, tapped in on economics and the markets. He called the last great financial crisis. And right here, he shows a graph depicting calculated shortfall Circle anticipated to have in returning collateral to USDC holders during a run on the bank amid spiking interest rates. Red bars show deficits monthly. Video link explains the methodology, not as safe as you thought. So this guy, he's been speaking out on this for a while now. Obviously, he now has a lawsuit against Circle saying that they infringe on his patent. But what he's running through is a scenario, a complete bank run, assuming a full run on the bank using 2022 interest rates, the USDC liquidation capability. And so he's showing this. And once again, folks, we continue to say, I believe, in my opinion, that Circle is the safest bet. But we only want to have what we're willing to lose on these exchanges in these stable coins. It's unfortunate because if you want to be able to place your limit orders so that you can buy these cryptos on the dip, you got to have stable coins loaded up. You got to have money loaded up so that you can buy the dips, right? And you got to keep some funds on the sidelines. And so it's unfortunate because we see there's definitely some cracks breaking, and it's getting wider. And we're starting to see, the liquidity crisis is not done in the cryptocurrency space. We gotta remain safe. And so for all the new people here, we're willing to help you out. Get in touch with us. Let us know what you're working with as far as wallets and exchanges. We got to make sure that we have moved our long-term holdings, long-term assets off of the exchanges, and we only keep on the exchanges funds that we're willing to do business transactions with, that we're willing to actually make moves with, because we cannot trust these stable coins. We cannot trust these exchanges. And this situation, I think, gets a little bit worse, breaks a little bit further before it gets better, before we get to the other side. In regards to Flare, though, guys, we are a few days away few days away from the Flare distribution, and I think it's going to be a massive event. I think this is going to be a massive ecosystem. This guy, Ash W, Banker DeFi on Twitter. Flare is a hugely underrated ecosystem, genius design, its core protocols deployed to serve the cross-chain economy, and then ultimately any system, Web 2, 3, data that's proven on a blockchain ran by an open community, infra players and citizens all incentivized. I think it's going to be massive. And remember, it's bringing DeFi, not just this little Flare ecosystem. Flare's bringing DeFi to all these other ledgers as well, including Doge. Right, it's bringing DeFi to Doge, it's bringing DeFi to XRP and others. I think Flare is actually going to be massive, and I want to do a deep dive on Flare, and then on another issue, we need to figure out. We're gonna have to talk with Jimmy. We're gonna have to talk with our lawyers and get our legal counsel, right? Because I'm not a lawyer. I'm not here to give you legal, financial, or tax advice, right? It's time to go talk to the professionals and figure out what we need to do if Coinbase doesn't distribute our Flare. Is it time to make another claim? We need to make a claim on our Songbird. We need to make a claim on our Flare. We might have to make a claim on our XRP. Let's talk to the lawyers and figure it out because, guys, this is coming in 3 days. I had my XRP on Coinbase. That was stupid of me, but, you live and you learn, and we're going to see what Coinbase does. They still got our Songbird, and we're going to see. We got a few days away. Make sure you guys are prepared. Make sure you guys go take a look at all of the participating exchanges. Many of them are getting on board. And I'm really looking forward to this for the XRP community. I think it's going to be massive. Really looking to see because this is just more utility coming to the XRP ledger and others. So for those of you that are still holding your Dogecoin, happy New Year. Little blessing from the Flare community. Now, continuing on further here, the Digital Dollar Project put this out. Remember, Ripple's working on that Digital Dollar Project, and they say, this is from Jess Chang, quote, for any retail CBDC, private and public sector cooperation is critical, says Jess Chang, one of the co-authors of a recent ESCB article on legal interoperability in retail CBDCs. The money system is not a government monolith, but a diverse multiverse of banks and increasingly fintech payment networks that interoperate. Where have we heard that before? Well, and of course, Jess Chang comes from Ripple. She was previously the head general counsel at Ripple. So this is her in 2017. The software developed by Ripple is one example of enterprise solutions for financial institutions that improves the efficiency of their cross-border payments. However, robust distributed financial technologies, DFTs, must be paired with clear commercial rules that define and govern with certainty and predictability how the technology is being used to make payments. As discussed further below, business lawyers and technologists alike should take note that commercial rules as well as requisite payments law expertise to craft them are critical to transforming DFT from an experimental pilot to an enterprise solution for financial institutions to move real value around the world. And this is from 2017 here, folks. Ripple's solution for the cross-border payments in comparison to relying on intermediaries through global correspondent networks is available here. In essence, this technology allows financial institutions with no direct relationship to establish trust and coordinate their actions without relying on intermediaries like global correspondent banks and domestic payment systems. Additionally, financially, institutions can use virtual currencies like XRP, the digital asset native to the Ripple consensus ledger, as a bridging tool that streamlines liquidity for their interbank foreign exchange transactions. More details are available in Ripple's announcements of a successful pilot of this use case among 12 global banks in October of 2016. Using XRP in this way allows financial institutions to reduce the costs, enhance the transparency, and expand the global reach of the cross-border payments without the end user payer or payee themselves necessarily having any contact with XRP. Now, of course, the XRP community in a tizzy, and I made a comment, I dropped a video earlier, little 50K XRP clickbait. I apologize for the clickbait, even though it's not clickbait because I'm talking about real issues and why they brought forth the $50,000 valuation. So it's actually not clickbait. I'm explaining, the $50,000 valuation, how that came about. But the community was once again up in arms today, arguing about whether or not XRP is for retail, whether it's for banks and financial institutions only. And, I just chimed in and I said, guys, obviously XRP is for everyone, but are you and your pals going to move trillions of dollars? No. Like collectively, we move $6 trillion in the cross-border payments networks, right? But that's banks and financial institutions that are doing that settlement, right? Me and you sending Venmos and Cash Apps, we ain't moving trillions of dollars, right? So I said, obviously, retail, anybody can use the XRP ledger, but the banks and financial institutions need to adopt this technology, need to adopt this currency XRP for the generational wealth meme to come true. So I think that for me is like where the community is just so divisive right now. And it's just like, guys, obviously everyone can use the XRP ledger, right? When we say XRP isn't meant for us, it's because Ripple is focused on banks and financial institutions being able to use it primarily. And then they do some grants. They do some NFT grants for the little guys. They do some little, projects, little grants, little funding. That's cute. But we know what the target market is, right? We understand what the target market is from Ripple's own words themselves. Do they want to see a thriving retail use and utility of XRP? I think they do. And that will add to the ledger. Absolutely. The retail use cases and utility is going to add to the ledger. But let's be real. The generational wealth meme in regards to the XRP conversation doesn't really happen, in my opinion, unless we get the banks and financial institutions. And that's really who, XRP is truly designed. And, the biggest problems that XRP will solve are problems for banks and financial institutions, I guess is one way to put it, right? So while me and you, Joe Blow, got our little bags of XRP, maybe we will plan on using, rolling our business over to using the XRP ledger. We're planning on launching an NFT project. Whatever we're going to do on the ledger is cute, right? But we need the big boys to step up and move their trillions. And that'll bring even more value that's really going to move the needle for us as XRP holders. But obviously, everyone's in a tizzy. And in regards to that, Crypto Eddie put this out. And this is the direct conversation that I'm talking about. Crypto Lou put out this. XRP is not going to be used by the public. It's the rails for banks to bank value transfer. XLM would be the public side of things. Crypto Eddie responds, no. The brochure is about a Ripple wallet that can be dipped into on demand to facilitate a transfer with XRP as a bridge. It was a new feature announced in a regional swell event for members of RippleNet who wish to use XRP but not custody. XRP is for anyone and everyone. Yeah, we understand that. But what just took place in India is they banned their citizens from being able to trade and own cryptocurrency, launched their CBDC pilot, and then now it came out in the most recent document that they're talking about that's circulating is banks and financial institutions in India that are using XRP on-demand liquidity, but their customers aren't touching XRP. So once again, that government blocked out their citizens from being able to own the asset, own the currency. If I'm not mistaken, it's tough because these countries flip back and forth, just like China did, just like Russia did. 1 month they ban it, the other month they adopt it. Now we have Russia with a digital gold-backed digital currency, right? So they do this flip-flop, but then a lot of these countries have heavy regulations and limitations for the average retail investor and trader like you and me. And so this is where we got to, take advantage of this opportunity, in my opinion, before we could potentially be locked out or potentially the supply for retail could dry up. Right? Even if no one deems XRP is illegal for us to own, it's a hybrid security. It's systemically important for the financial system. IMF needs it all. The use cases and utility as they get ramped up and as more people, banks, and financial institutions use it as a reserve currency and just hold it, that has less availability XRP available for public trading. That's going to drive up demand, drive up price, right? So then it becomes unaffordable. Right? People won't even be able to afford an XRP wallet because it's still going to require 10 XRP, and XRP is going to be at, $10. And someone doesn't have an extra $100 in one of these countries. See, we're thinking as Americans. We're thinking as wherever we're tuning in from, if you're in a country that you're more well off, we're not thinking of these people that are tuning in from across the world, in these other countries where $100 US to open an XRP wallet is unaffordable. Obviously, the ledger can be amended. They could reduce the minimum amount, but you get the point, right? You get the point. And yeah, here's the tweet that I shared. Obviously, everyone can use XRP. Are you and your pals moving trillions, though? That's the point. Retail use cases and utility will help grow the value of this ledger. The generational wealth meme doesn't happen without banks and financial institutions adopting, though. So that's kind of where I stand. And then I put out the XRP influencer drama is kind of a Shiite show. Can't wait for the 50K buyback and yacht party so we can be friends again. I just want the XRP community to chill. I mean, we're on the same side. And so we have a life-changing opportunity. If we're just partly right about this situation, we have a real opportunity. And so let's just come together and enjoy this moment. Flare, this one's from 24 Hours Crypto. Let's get this party started. Hope you had an XRP before the snapshot. We did. Unfortunately, I had it on Coinbase, and we'll see if we get our Flare tokens. But at the time of this recording, it looks like this was shared earlier today. Flare trading at 50 cents. So, I mean, you guys do the math on what that means for you. And I'll probably drop my Flare deep dive before Flare drops over the next few days. And I want to put out the warning right now, and I'll put it out in the deep dive again. A lot of people are going to be dumping, guys. Like, this thing's most likely going to get dumped hard. We've seen this historically. I mean, this could be the top that we've already achieved even before we get a lot of these tokens that do airdrops and stuff like this. They will start to dump even before the launch, even before the airdrop day. So be prepared. If you already, are planning on getting some Flare, have your plan, what you're going to do, because this thing's going to be moving quickly. It's going to be volatile. You guys already saw what happened with Songbird over the last week. Same thing. Songbird's very interesting because everything needs to be tested on Songbird before it can go to Flare. It's a true canary network for Flare, and that everything has to be tested on Songbird before it goes to Flare. So this is an interesting situation. Is Coinbase or some of these other exchanges actually going to give us our Flare tokens? Did they give you your Songbird? They still haven't given me mine. Let's see what happens, man. This is going to be incredible, though. This is going to be incredible. But be ready, guys. I just want to put this warning out for everyone right here. We got 3 days leading up. Be prepared. The top could be coming in here shortly. I might actually pull up the chart here on Flare and actually check the most up-to-date prices because, yeah, this was shared 3 hours ago at 5 p.m., 50 cents for Flare. So I may update this actually after I finish my update. But the title of this episode here, what we're looking at, is XRP's last line of defense. Let's take a look here. This is from EGREG Crypto, EGREG Crypto, showing us this chart here. And this is the last line of defense and a crazy fractal. Lately, I have been calling for a major move. XRP is showing huge alignment with the crazy fractal. As long as the last line of defense is not breached, then nothing to worry about. XRP will eclipse even the biggest believers. Well, I'm excited for that because I do consider myself to be a big believer. Now, we got the hold the line right there at about the 38 cent level. We've been trading kind of within a range below this recently, okay? But then he has another another support line here at about 30 cents, which we recently poked right through that briefly. We briefly braked below that 30 cent level. And now we have the last line of defense is at that 27 cent level. So we got to watch this closely. Got to watch this one closely. And he says that the monthly should close above 38 cents. So we want to see that. We want to see XRP close above 38 cents on the monthly, and that would confirm the move. And now, what is this move? What is this crazy fractal? This isn't a $50,000 price prediction, guys. This is just taking us to $2.50 if we match out this fractal. And like I was saying here earlier, I would just love to see XRP move back below back above $1. Right? That would be refreshing to see XRP back above $1. But let's watch this closely. He's telling us the last line of defense, and I've seen this. My chart's kind of on the same spot too. About that 27 cent level is going to be that last line of defense. If we break through that, we have supports at about obviously the 20 cent level is going to be major, but we have a big support at 13 cents. I hate to throw those numbers around, guys, but I want you to be prepared. I want you to be prepared. I'm not even going to argue that the whether or not the bottom's in or not, right? We can see that it can go both ways, and that there's a crazy fractal for XRP, And there's a crazy wedge that we've been trading in that if we do get the breakout, I mean, we move above $1 and then we can move to that $2.50 level if this fractal plays out and others that do take us back approaching all-time high. The timing of this is interesting because over the next few months, we are waiting for that summary judgment conclusion, the summary judgment ruling to come down from Analicia Torres, the judge presiding over the Ripple vs. SEC lawsuit. So we're within range, we're within the hour for a settlement. Hate to even throw that word out anymore after we've been waiting for 2 years. And I understand everybody's patience is wearing thin. I understand the sentiment, right? But we're in a prime time for a settlement, and we are in the final, days, weeks, and months. James Phelan tells us that by March 31st, we should have the summary judgment ruling from the judge. Okay. So we have that. It's an interesting convergence that we're coming up in here. Crypto ready to make maybe one more final leg down, but then we understand that it's going to recover quickly, very quickly, especially these suppressed assets like XRP. Now we got this digital asset investor asked today, and this is in regards to Tony Valentino. He put this out, this was on December 30th. In XRP, we trust the rails that provide the backbone and lifeblood of the new financial system are now in place. They have been activated. From darkness will come fire. From fire comes the phoenix. Within the next 7 days, we will see our future path. Now, I think, for me, that can be interpreted a few different ways. That can be not interpreted. There can be no value put on that. If you guys are tired of the riddles, if you guys are tired of the BS, I understand. I get it. But for me, what we saw today negotiated within the House does set the stage for some things to be changed. And I still need to follow up and look at what the Supreme Court did today as well. I haven't seen if there's any announcement. I was kind of waiting and seeing. I figured that the political theater that was taking place over at Congress was maybe going to distract from the Supreme Court because we were expecting an announcement from the Supreme Court today. But like I said, there's definitely some things underway here. And we do have 2 more years to ride out this situation. We have all of 2023, and then we all have 2024 before we have the next presidential election in November of 2024. And then the new members of the Congress, Senate, and the new president won't be coming in until January of 2025. So that's why I just want everyone to understand that when I'm showing you this crazy fractal, right? It's with an understanding that short term we could be brought back. It's an understanding that we could be stagnant. We could be moving sideways. This recovery could take a while, right? And the overall fundamental analysis tells us that, and even from a political theater standpoint, that we could be within the chaos for another 2 more years. The political theater that I'm expecting to watch is the Republicans doing some investigations, doing some political theater shows, right? Because they've taken control, they'll actually be able to have, the committees will actually be able to move forward with some of these investigations and different things that they want to do. But is it going to be any more than political theater? Is it going to impact us? Is it going to save our business from this recession? Is it going to save our family, from the rising cost of food? Because they tell us inflation's at 7%. What did we cover just a couple weeks ago? Eggs up 50%. We see that the real value, the real assets, the real commodities, the real energy that matters has gone up 20% plus, right? Are they going to save your business? Are they going to save your 401k? I don't think they are. I don't think that they are. I think that they're ready to make political theater, do their investigations, talk tough, do a deal, do a compromise. And I just, for me, we can check in, we can see how it's unfolding, understand what's coming, but only enough that it doesn't distract us and it allows us to invest and prepare and operate from a day-to-day basis properly. That's why we watch and check in on the political theater. It's not, we don't want to get consumed up in it. We don't want it to eat us up. We don't want to emotionally react one way or another, whether we get pissed off or whether we're rooting because someone's going to make a stand. It's time for us to make a stand every single day and say that we're not going to accept a recession. We're not going to give in our business and turn the key, right? We're not going to let our 401k get wiped out. Even though gold was only up 2% last year, it still did way better than the traditional stocks, the S&P 500, the traditional 60-40 portfolio, better than the bonds, which had their worst year in history. So, like I said, I'm here to report the situation as I see it. I got some links on down below if you want to roll over your precious metals, if you want to take advantage of that, right? It's all down below at my website. You can get in touch with me. We would love to have you within the Discord group and family. Tomorrow, we're going to be right back at it. Right back to work tomorrow. Every single day we show up. Tomorrow morning, it's our weekly call in our Discord group where I get to sit down in an intimate setting with my group, and we're going to talk through the update, talk through the situation. Every single day, we're going to make sure that it gets done. Now, what are you guys working with? Hoping it will not be another 2 years of shenanigans, political theater for sure. Yeah, Deanna, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Absolutely. Now, guys, actually, I had one more, and this one's important. I had to share this one because we could see another 2 years of political theater. We can see ISO is going to get delayed. Bank of England just delayed ISO, this and that, right? Meanwhile, we understand these pilots have already been done. Like the article that I shared with you guys, the Ripple pilot that was done back in 2016, Bank of America partnerships 2016. These guys know what's going on. These guys know what's going on. And I didn't even make my final point there from Jess Chang in talking about, I wanted to go back. I have to go back. I have to go back and I want to show you guys this. Because remember, Jess Chang comes from Ripple. She was the general counsel at Ripple. And then we see what the Digital Dollar Project is about here. They say, we are devoted to catalyzing research and exploration of the potential benefits and challenges of a U.S. CBDC and ensuring it is enshrined with civil liberties. That's what we need. And if we're going to have any fintech company at the table, I would love to see it Ripple. Because when I listen to these guys speak, they understand and respect civil liberties. Do they want to take care of the banks and the financial institutions? Yes. Do they go to the World Economic Forum? Do they sit down with the IMF and the BIS and over 50 central banks? Yes. But when I listen to them publicly speak, they have a respect for CBDCs, right? I just showed you guys the advisor to Ripple on CBDCs was talking about all of the situation that's unfolding. And I made the point how these guys are tapped in. Jess Chang used to be general counsel at Ripple. Now she's, part of this digital dollar project for the United States CBDC. And I'm hoping that the United States can be a leader. See, I'm pro-America, the country that we used to have, and the opportunity that I want to get back is what I mean by being pro-America. I don't stand for 90% of the crap that's taking place right now in this country and at that political and legal battle that's underway. I don't stand for 90% of what's happening, but I still believe, and I'm still going to fight. And I'm still going to operate my businesses in a way, right, that regardless of that situation, we're going to be taken care of. My portfolio's going to be adjusted accordingly. The suppressed assets, the reserve currencies that I'm going to be hold. We stopped by the coin dealer today, dumped out the wallet. Take my last $200, please. And I'm rooting for the good guys, and I get it all the time. On this video, I'll get comments from both sides. Ripple's been captured by white hats. It's going to be Nasara Jasara, best to come. We're all taken care of, nothing to worry about. And I really worry about that sentiment because we've already been caught up, guys. We thought we had a plan. We were supposed to trust the plan. I trusted the plan. I thought something different was going to take place the last 2 years. Didn't happen. Now we feel the pain. But thank God I didn't sit back. I didn't sit back and just trust the plan, just rely on hope and prayer and not take action. I continue to have hope for this country, for my business, for my family, for my community. I continue to have hope. Continue to have faith. But I continue to take massive amounts of action, regardless, right? And that's where we're at. And that's what I want to see happen. And we know and we understand that although they have delays, although this is getting frustrating, although we're fighting amongst each other, do not get it twisted on what is taking place behind the scenes. Folks, right here, Nathaniel Rothschild tweeting this one out, 2023. This is from FXC Intelligence. Countries around the world are changing their payment infrastructure in an attempt to make cross-border payments faster, easier, and safer in 2023. And you can see right here, fundamental payment system projects in 2023, examples of key cross-border payment infrastructure projects in 2023. So you have SWIFT, European Commission. This is the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Japanese government, the United States Treasury Department, Federal Reserve, United States Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, Bank of Indonesia, the Clearinghouse, EBA Clearing, SWIFT, and it's all 2023. All 2023 for the Western countries and for some of these other countries that haven't rolled out the CBDC pilots yet. We see China, we see Russia launch digital-backed, gold-backed digital currency. We see China moving forward, and we see them covering their basis, stockpiling record amounts of gold, not reporting the true numbers of gold that they're actually mining. Right? And meanwhile, here in the United States, right, we got people that tell us that XRP can never be used to fix the currency and the debt crisis. Okay, that's fine. We still have a currency and a debt crisis. You want the value of the problem? It's a $30 trillion problem. And that's just the national debt, not including the over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities. Currency crisis, well, the dollar's been doing fine. The DXY has been doing fine because it's the cleanest shirt in the closet. So we put it on. We're stacking cash. I'm stacking cash. But the death is inevitable. Our partners aren't using it. They're not buying our treasury notes. They're not buying our bonds. They're not funding our debt. So it's a fundamental problem. It has to be done. If it's not XRP, what's it going to be? Silver could play a part. Gold could play a part. XLM's nice. XDC's a nice utility ledger. Quant's cute. How do we get it done? That's the question, right? And I've invested in a few of the suppressed assets and currencies that could play a role. Bottom line. Now, guys, I want to remain positive. As we go into 2023, a lot of drama, a lot of confusion, a lot of FUD. I want to remain positive for you guys. I want to bring that positive energy as we roll on into this year. It's unfortunate because I wish that I could not have to say that I do think that they're going to squeeze us out and that we're going to have more pain and a confirmed recession in 2023 by anyone's definition. I wish that I didn't have to report on that. I wish I didn't have to predict that, but that is my prediction. That is my prediction. I mean, they're going to go until something breaks, and we're being resilient. We're still pumping meme coins in the middle of a bear market recession. While some of the biggest companies in the world are announcing massive layoffs and going bust, we're still buying NFTs. We're still pumping memes. Bitcoin broke above 17K. And so we're remaining resilient. And the jobs too, the jobs market, they just, returned. Finally, people are getting back to work, I guess, of those that are actually trying to participate. And there's just so much manipulation. I could do a whole session on the manipulation of the jobs numbers and the CPI data. It's all one big lie, right? But the White House gets to, report that we have more Americans working now than ever in history. Well, the real situation is Main Street's being sacrificed. The average family is not going to make it. 50% more for the eggs, 25% more for any protein to feed the family. I guess it's fine because we're going to eat crickets. Sounds good. Everyone, it's fine. You got to get along here. Get along. Don't put up a fight. Turn in your car. Move into the coffin apartment and eat your crickets, okay? It's going to be fine. It's an incredible opportunity for those of us that are tapped in, business minds. You don't have to be your own boss. You don't have to do #entrepreneur, but have a business mind. Right now, we have to embrace the technology. We have to embrace the disruption. And we have to figure out what value can we bring to somebody else's company, or if we run our own show, how are we going to continue to bring value? And what do the people need? Because now we've had a time of people buying what they want. The stimmy checks kept us fat. It was a good time. We could still throw a slab of meat on the grill last year, even though it pained me to grill like one ribeye steak for $20. I mean, that's where we were at last year, but I was still able to do it. Are we going to be able to do it this coming year, right? This situation, I think, is unfortunately changing, but for the average American, it's not going to get better yet. And that's why we got our channel. That's why we got this platform. That's why we're one of the most transparent people in the space here, telling you guys what I'm doing. I stopped by the coin dealer and I dumped out my wallet. I gave him the $250 cash that I had. Thank you, sir. I will be back with more. I told him I'll be back. Last currency that I bought was XDC. Okay. And I have not done, and I'm going to be watching this Flare airdrop. Is getting me excited for sure. This Flare airdrop's getting me excited. What else are we working with, guys? All the links are down below. If you guys want to get in touch, join the community. It's all at my website, zachrichter.com. This is a powerful entity that we are talking about. This stuff takes time. Absolutely. Absolutely, this stuff takes time. Get rid of that fake money. You bet. You bet. Right now, what I am doing is I'm basically only keeping cash money in the banks to operate my businesses, to pay my rent, to pay my bills. That's all the cash that I got in the system right now. Other than that, I'm moving out. I mean, guys, it wasn't much. You guys are big hitters. You guys are, maybe you want to use my link on down below for precious metals. They got a minimum requirement of 5,000, but they're mostly targeted at people that are rolling over their 401k retirement account to precious metals. But they will ship metals to your house. It's just their minimum is 5K. But for many of you guys like myself, we're just regular people. I happen to be in the area and have a little free time. Take all my money, please. And it wasn't much. But that's what we do. We just keep stacking. Zach, when will the U.S. audit their gold reserves? Man, Rosie Rios told us that the gold is there. So in Rosie, we trust, I guess. In Rosie, we trust. Did you talk about the valuation? Jamie, I hadn't mentioned the valuation in this episode. I just dropped the 50,000 XRP valuation video a little bit earlier today. A lot of people are upset at me. I'm tired of this, and I get that. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. I was just trying to explain where we're at, kind of what's going on. And I wanted people to understand with clarity that the 50,000 valuation is not reality. Like, it's a claim. It's a claim on a hypothetical reality. Because they sued Ripple, Brad, Chris, and involved all XRP holders, they put a cloud on this property. They put a cloud on this title. They damaged this property. What the claim is that if they hadn't have done it, XRP would have been adopted and all of our dreams would have come true. The best case scenario, XRP is going to move all the money. It would be at 50K. If you wouldn't have sued us, if this wouldn't have happened, if that wouldn't have happened, in our hypothetical dream world, XRP, best case scenario, God blessed us, we were the chosen few, XRP would be at 50K. And what that does in a legal setting, in a legal battlefield, I'm not a lawyer, but from my understanding, and I asked Jimmy directly because I didn't get it. I said, why are we assuming that XRP is going to have all the money when we're coming up with the valuation? Why are we assuming that it's going to move all the money? Like, surely there's going to be other ledgers that are moving the money. And he said, we start negotiations right at that point, and we let them work back with their evidence, with their facts. That's how you fight a legal battle in court, guys. Now, as far as how do we invest, how do we position, how should I emotionally be thinking about 50K XRP? I don't think about 50K XRP. Not for 1 second, guys. Not for 1 second do I plan in the way that I plan my investments, in my business, in reality. I am not planning on 50K XRP. Don't get it twisted. It's about making a claim, a legal claim. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying this because they'll pull up the clips in the court and they'll say, he knew the XRP wasn't worth 50K. See, right here, he's proving it. Okay, yeah, but it's not worth 30. It's worth more than 35 cents. That's the point. And we're covering our bases. It's a contingency. We have precedent in this country. They bought back the gold, bought it for cheap, set it higher. They bought all the Veritasium tokens from Reggie Middleton, who created the DeFi patent. They took all the tokens. They created a fair fund, established a distribution agent to liquidate that money to harmed investors. At some point, will a class action lawsuit be filed by XRP holders? Potentially. This valuation, this evidence, these facts, these sets of facts and circumstances will be used. QFS team, thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're just going to keep on pressing on. It's all positive over here. It's all taking advantage over here. Taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. What facts? You need to go to court with facts first. Well, that's where discovery comes. That's where discovery comes from. I mean, that's fought out in the court, just like in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. So you want facts? Well, the facts come out in discovery, just like we saw in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. How much corruption got exposed in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit? A lot. A lot. I mean, the XRP community, we are on these guys, exposing it all. I don't even want a buyback to occur. Let me be clear. Like, I want my country back. That's what I want. I want my country back. I want sound money and the government out of my life. I don't want a buyback. So you don't have facts to claim 50K and higher. No, we do have facts. We do have numbers. We have done math, and calculations and valuations are being done within the select valuation committee. Right. So I'm not part of the valuation committee. They got bankers, they got M&A lawyers, they got experts within the deal there who understand that it can actually value assets, companies. I just want the Hinman documents. Exactly. And we see how much of a fight they're putting up for that, right? So that's what it's about for me, guys. It's just about, I want my country back. I don't want 50K XRP buyback. That's not what I'm here for. Taxes need to be cut. Regulations need to be cut. Get the government out of our way. They need to fix and solve. We have a currency and a debt crisis. We want sound money. The way to do that is to back the currency by gold, silver, other assets, commodities of value. XRP could work too. Building the CBDC on the XRP ledger and backing it by gold would be my most ideal situation. Ripple cutting a deal with the Treasury Department for the Treasury to get billions of XRP from the escrow would be my preferred method to do this. And that wouldn't even include a buyback. That would not include a buyback, right? But that would save our country. It would allow our treasury to come into XRP on the cheap before value and utilities unlocked. That would fix the currency and debt crisis. It is the solution. Will our government do it? Our government doesn't like us. They don't like us. They like the situation that they have now. So. Did what happened though with the vote there? Did we confirm McCarthy?
But this is an ugly finish. Scott, thank you so much. Stand by. We are going to take a brief break.
This is an ugly finish.
Reset here as we look at a live picture of the Capitol. On this, which we cannot forget, is the second anniversary of the insurrection at that very building.
Oh boy!
Where that altercation just took place. Stay with us.
What just happened? He said there was an altercation? They scrapping? Finally, we're getting something done. Settle it like we did back in the day, right? Take it outside. Let's go. Guys, I want to see debate. I want to see healthy debate. I want to see an adult conversation. 2 votes shy? Oh, that's awesome. That's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. So does Trump become speaker or is No, I mean, I don't think that they nominated Trump again. I think that was pretty funny. It got heated. Oh boy. How fun. How exciting. Okay, let's I'll pull this up. They're at commercial break right now. They had to turn the cameras away. It was getting too ugly. Let's get something done, for crying out loud, man. Somebody's got to do something. As I was covering at the beginning of this, it was looking like they were all reporting. They were all going in. Oh, Kevin McCarthy's walking in. He looks great. He looks confident. He looks like someone that's about to be nominated Speaker of the House, just like the media always does. And I've been watching ABC's reporting. Whatever, I watch. Sometimes I watch them. I watch the enemy, so I understand the narrative that they're giving us. I watch the mainstream media, so I understand how they're spinning it to the masses. I love you guys too. How un-American is it that the SEC is suing and stopping innovation against an American company? Exactly our point, right? Exactly our point. They are literally holding back not just XRP holders, but I think that they're holding back the whole space and the entrepreneurs, the capitalists that could be building solutions that would benefit not just Americans, but the whole world. Like ETH2 didn't give us what we want. ETH2 is not getting the job done. Let's get something else in there, right? And like I said, it doesn't have to be XRP. There's some other good ledgers too. XLM works fantastic. XDC, going to be used. Massive utility. I'd love to see. You only have to to do a gold-backed currency, guys. The standard is 40%. It's not 1-to-1. It's not 100%. Now, it used to be, 1-to-1 backing, but the 40% is basically the standard. So they would only have to have 40%. Rosie Rios told us that we have the gold. There's been some certain executive orders that were put into place that if bad actors were, convicted of crimes against humanity, that their assets might move or do something. So let's watch that. What's going on here, folks? Oh boy, drama at. Oh boy, here we go.
Is something not seen on the House floor, we believe, between members of Congress since the 1800s. After realizing that he was in trouble with the votes, you see Kevin McCarthy walk up to where Congressman Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert are sitting, two presents this evening, and then present votes. They didn't flip directly to him. Obviously, Kevin McCarthy thought the math was in his favor, even if they voted present. And then you see this sort of heated exchange. And then after there was an altercation, you see this exchange. Face to face, talking with smiles. Kevin McCarthy has his arm on Matt Gaetz. Just take a look. There it is. I know. Almost like, hey, all's forgiven after what just happened.
That's a stiff grip right there. McCarthy putting a stiff grip there on Matt Gaetz. Listen here, boy. Let me tell you what.
All of his Republican, his whole caucus, to vote against adjournment, which means it looks like something was agreed to upon.
Whoa,
but
it got crazy out there. You see these pictures, folks? It got crazy. They were grabbing people, holding them back. Wild, man. Are these adults or are these children?
Him by the face. Actually had his hand over his mouth at one point, which is something we haven't seen, as I said, since the 1800s. We've got to bring Rick Klein in right now, our political director. Rick, make sense of everything we saw from the altercation to Kevin McCarthy.
That's hilarious, folks. What are we watching? The children fighting there. I guess, they were expecting Kevin, like I said, mainstream media doing what they always do, right? Oh, this is a cakewalk. This is agreement. We got the compromise. We got the deal. He's looking great. He's looking like he's about to be nominated Speaker of the House. Only for it to fall apart here. Uh-oh, we're going back.
between McCarthy and Gates appeared to elicit some results. It appeared to our producer Ben Siegel, who was watching this, that McCarthy told him thank you, and then immediately moved to get the Republicans to flip their votes so they would not adjourn, which would force another vote, a 15th vote for House Speaker. This time, they really think they have the votes, and it would be Matt Gaetz's personal commitment, it would appear, to Kevin McCarthy. But what preceded that was some mass confusion that led to the physical altercation. As we hear the dominating speeches now, and they try to piece this back together after a truly extraordinary round 14 of a never-ending bout.
Is that what it took, you think? It took a physical altercation on the floor of the House to get Matt Gaetz to come around? I mean, what happens here is, you know, people call him an attention seeker and whatever people call him, but here it looks like he single-handedly, after saying no to Kevin McCarthy no matter what, saying he sold shares off of, like, his soul, now he single-handedly, with one vote, can make him Speaker of the House.
Well, I'm curious to know if Matt Gaetz got anything from Kevin McCarthy. A little side note here, Mike Rogers is the chairman of the Armed Services Committee. That's a committee that Matt Gaetz serves on. I don't know how you square that and how you walk back to the friendly confines of that committee after that altercation, that near physical altercation that we just witnessed.
All right, I do want to say, don't ask me why Ja Rule Always On Time is at the top of my recommended videos on my YouTube. I be playing the love jams with wifey. Oh, man. Hey, Mikey likes it. Thank you for the 10 spot. Happy New Year, brother. I appreciate it, Mike. Mikey, thank you. No, but that's hilarious, folks. Excuse me. So it looks like, yeah, we're going to the 15th vote now, and they're nominating him once again. I guess everyone's looking happy, slappy once again, like we finally got a deal done. They had to do it one more time here, and we'll see if this actually goes through. But once again, folks, this political theater, man, is crazy. Big pump coming Monday. Actually, that's a good point, guys. And we talked about this earlier, is that the markets are reacting good. We got the job numbers. Markets reacted good. FOMC meetings, minutes, markets reacting good. And then if we get this, then I think that the markets actually will be actually moving back up. I could see that playing out for sure, based off this news, because it might show that, you know, they were able to compromise. They were able to come together. Everyone's friends now, right? And the uncertainty's over. And so we'll see what happens. Keyshawn Thomas, I appreciate that. Thank you for the 10 spot, Keyshawn. Thank you. This guy says, I don't know what's worse, the vote or watching your BS. Hey, man, I'm not holding you here. You can move along to anybody. You know, there's plenty of other folks making content out here. So we're just here doing our thing, taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history while enjoying the show. And that's a good time. Brunson case, David, I need to look that up. That's a good point. Anybody got news on the Brunson case? Did we get anything out of them today? Maybe they get it on the 17th vote. Yeah, that's what I said. I said it's either going to be the 13th vote or the 17th vote. If they go past that, they would move it to 33 probably. You know how they love their numbers. Let me see, though. Six days ago. Supreme Court scenes as court conducts cert review of, what is this? Wow. It's hard to find this. It's really hard to find this. They got this buried on Google. Yeah, I'm not seeing any announcements though. A historic case has been docketed by the United States Supreme Court. Let's take a look here. Case number 22380, titled Brunson versus Adams, has reached the highest court in the land by a writ of certioria from the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. The petitioner of the case, Brunson, is suing 388 federal officers. And I'm not even going to read it because I'm just worried about reading it. Okay. But I just can't see, I'm not seeing any announcements. Did you guys see any announcements out there? I don't think so. Decision on Monday? Did they move that? Where'd you guys hear that? They're moving the decision to Monday? Interesting. Interesting stuff. That's going to be fascinating to watch. All right. Where are we at? I pulled up. Here's my chart. Didn't play out yet. Full moon energy has not really came in yet. We see this. I drew the full moon for you guys. It'll be right there. It was today. Today is the full moon energy. So that's why everyone's acting a little crazy. Okay. Market's pumped, though. Market's pumped. And we're going to see what they do from here. This is what the markets do, though. They give us a little bit of life, a little bit of recovery before they bounce back down. But I was just predicting that on this date, I was expecting that volatility to come in. So let's watch that and see what happens. Now, I do want to look up, is Flare even of... Where can we find the price of Flare at? Okay, it's at 51 cents. 51 cents right now on CoinWatch. Yep. So be ready for that, guys. I'm just putting out the warning now. I want everyone to be prepared for that pump and dump, just like always happens. I mean, look at every coin that's done in airdrop. Same thing, same situation. What did I do with my... I was trying to think. I think it was the solo airdrop. I traded solo and I was able to acquire, I think I got a 3x off solo or something. I forget what I did. But we did the same thing with solo in the Discord group. We have a whole group. We have a channel called airdrops where we go over the updated airdrops, and there's a few people within our community that are like tapped in and kind of partake in all of the airdrops, and a lot of them were like not worth that much, but they actually, there would be some that would come along and they'd be able to like basically just get the free tokens, drop them, and make some XRP. So free XRP is free XRP for just doing a little hustle on the airdrops. So yeah, the Discord group's been working on that in our airdrops channel. Yeah. All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up this session. Like I said, tomorrow morning we do our weekly Discord call, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so we would love to have you guys join us in there. If you guys sign up tonight, you should be able to get the links. I'll make sure that I check in the morning before I get started there, that anybody who joined the Discord group over the night, I'll make sure you guys get the links so that you can make it there to the weekly Discord call. It's fun to be there with me in person. We have a nice intimate setting. Conversations and Q&A take place after my update that's exclusive for the Discord group. That is tomorrow, and really looking forward to that. And like I said, we just got so much coming here in 2023 that has me excited, even though the markets, the economics, the situation from a fundamental perspective looks like it gets worse before it gets better. I think that our community is going to be able to take massive advantage of this opportunity, and it's going to be a nice deal for us. Nice deal for us. Okay. With that being said, the political theater, we'll see if it wraps up tonight. I'm not going to stay up for this. I'm not going to wait for them to do a roll call and once again. They should be voting by blockchain. It would be done in like 10 seconds, and we could all verify it. But we know why they don't want to do that. So I'm going to let them do their roll call political theater. We'll see who is the Speaker of the House, or if we even have one when we wake up tomorrow. Definitely got to have an understanding, though, that none of these people, none of these actors on the political battlefield there are going to take care of it for our family. So get tapped in, guys. The links are down below. I appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you.